Hello, and welcome back to your expense tracking mini project where you'll get to find out exactly how much you cost. In this video, we are going to look at some basic features and formatting in Google Sheets. This video is video 3 of a 9-part video series of this full mini project. Let's get started. Start by opening your expense tracking template. This can be accessed in Google Classroom or in the link in the description box below. In this video, we are going to go over the first 7 steps of all our basic formatting tools and features in Google Sheets. In the next video, we're going to start looking at how to convert between currencies using Google Finance. Now, when you have your template open, if you are in my financial algebra class, please make sure you organize this spreadsheet under your financial algebra portfolio. And this should be placed in the Unit 1 folder. If you haven't made unit folders yet, please go ahead and do so. For semester 1, we will have 5 units. So our first step is to make a copy of the tab titled Raw Data and then rename it Cleanup. So here's our tab Raw Data on the bottom. We're going to click this tab. We are going to right click and duplicate. Then we're going to right click the new tab and rename it as Cleanup. Step 1 complete. Next, we're going to insert a column to the right of the date column and title it Category. So looking at this raw data here, you can see that I've tried to track my expenses. So this was back in 2022, but it's a bit unorganized. So instead of just having the date, details, Thai baht, and the Canadian currency for some expenses, we're also going to add a currency. So I'm going to start by clicking this header A, right click, and then insert a column to the right. And I'm going to name this category. Let's go back and look at our instructions. I want to delete the blank rows. So going back to my cleanup, I can see there's a blank row in row 7. So I'm going to click the 7 here, right click, and just hit delete row. There's another one here. Row 8 is also blank, so let's delete that. And I see there are no more blank rows. Excellent. Back to our instructions. Reformat the date column. So this is just to show you that the date format can be changed depending on what your preference is. So if you like it like this, you can actually keep it, but I'm going to show you some ways that you can format cells to fit different standards that you want. So we are going to go to Format, Number, and then we can say custom date and time. So let's say I don't like the current format that it's displayed, and instead I just want the date and the simplified month, the first 3 letters of the month, let's say. So I'll hit that formatting and click apply, and you can see now all of the dates have been changed to the format that I want. Okay, and there are other formats that you can play around with. Next is the fill feature. So we're going to use this fill feature to fill in cells A3 to A6 with the same date. Back into our tab. So A3 to A6 are these cells here. What the instructions are saying is that all of these purchases were also made on August 4th, but maybe I was lazy or I just forgot to input the date. So what we can do here is we can just copy this date. So I'm pressing Command C or Control C. And then I just highlight all of these cells and go Command Paste to paste them all at once. Okay, so now that was not using the fill feature. That was just using copy paste. The way to use the fill feature, so let me undo this, is what we first want to do is actually make a copy. So one duplicate copy of August 4th, highlight both of these at once. And in order to use the fill feature, we're going to move our cursor to this blue dot until it changes to a plus sign. Then we're going to click and drag those cells down and it'll fill with the same date. The reason I had to make a copy of the 4th of August cell is because if I do not make a copy and just drag down, so I'll show you what that looks like over here, is Google Sheets will assume that I want to sequentially fill in my data, which is not true. So if I don't want to sequentially fill in my data, then one of the tricks is you first make a copy, highlight both of those cells, and drag both down. So now the next step is to use the fill feature again, but this time I want to fill in the cells A29 to A32 chronologically or sequentially. So this is straight up using the fill feature. We are not doing any copy paste. So from here, I click the cell, move my cursor until I get the plus sign, and then I'm going to drag this down so that I have the next few dates filled in. Okay, so that was just so you can see how the fill feature works. Next up, I want to freeze row 1 for easier reference. So here's the first row. Okay, I'm going to go into View, hit Freeze, and then up to row 1. And now you can see when you're scrolling, the headers stay stable so that I can see what these different columns represent. Okay, and those don't change. Next up, I want to format columns D and E as currency. So going back into our cleanup. Now, column D is in Thai baht and column E is in Canadian dollars. So I'll start with column D. Sorry, let's highlight column D. Hit format, go to number, and then you can select custom currency, look up Thai baht, hit apply. And now all of these cells are formatted in terms of Thai baht. We can do the same thing for the currencies that have Canadian dollar. So these flights were purchased in Canada. We're going to go to format again, number, custom currency, and then this time you can just search Canadian dollar and hit apply. Okay, and now these are formatted. Fantastic work. In the next video, we are going to look at using the Google Finance function to get up-to-date currency conversions in Google Sheets. See you in the next video. Finance with Miss Sue.